Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties like we did last week. We are today talking about hard to dispose items. So my name is Karen Maynard. I'm the Public Education Supervisor for the Solid Waste Management District and also through the Solid Waste Division of Public Works. And today's topic is important because we get a lot of questions. We can see that there's a lot of searches on some of our tools for certain items and how to dispose of them. Our folks over at Metro 311, they tell us, some of the questions that they get. So we know that this is a hot topic for people, is understanding how to properly dispose things. And we appreciate residents that are conscientious about wanting to dispose of things properly. So thank you. I also want to mention, I may talk about stores or other organizations that participate in drop-off programs. And although I might say it in the middle of the presentation, I just want to make sure everyone understands that COVID-19 did put some restrictions and temporary halts on some programs. So I will mention if I know of anything, but anytime right now, I think everyone knows it's important to call ahead or check and see, hours and things if anything has changed. So we can move on here. Get back to my screen. All right, so some items are just hard to handle, and I put a few reasons up here. Sometimes it's just that they're too big. They just don't fit in a garbage cart if you're trying to throw something away, or a recycling bin if you think it's recyclable, which FYI, if it's too big for your recycling bin, it probably shouldn't go there anyway. But so sometimes it's the size, like a piece of furniture or something. Sometimes it's because it's environmentally hazardous and it's important to keep some things out of the landfill or out of our environment. So we'll go over some of those types of things. Sometimes it's dangerous to workers. This is mostly because of recycling programs or recycling facilities where people are actually sorting items. So certain things like maybe scrap metal, like yes, it's recyclable, but sending it through a process where people have to sort and sort things out or send it through machines, we wouldn't want to put some things through there. And then, of course, there are items that are recyclable, but they just have to be done separately through a different kind of program than regular curbside recycling. So we'll go over a lot of that today. And as with any program that I do, we always mention reducing the waste that you generate. So that's the first thing to do, is try to reduce, try to not have the trash in the first place. So this is just some tips that go along with some items that might be hard to dispose of later. So before even purchasing something new, ask yourself, can I just borrow it? If you don't, maybe it's a tool or something that you don't need all the time, you just need it for the moment. So that's something that you can ask. Or sometimes people have things left over. I needed to use, we built a little shelf and I wanted to put some polyurethane on it. My parents had some polyurethane, so I used that. I didn't even use it all. I could give it back. So that's just an idea. Tools we share all the time. Also, can I get it used? Maybe you're looking for some lawn furniture or something. Sometimes when people are moving, they either give a lot of stuff away or sell things pretty cheap. So the Habitat Restore has been a great place that sells all kinds of decent items. So if it's something that you think you could get used, that's a great route to go. Is it durable or repairable? Sometimes you get what you pay for. And I know I like a bargain and I like things that don't cost a lot, but sometimes it's worth paying a little just because you know that it'll hold up longer and it won't be trash very soon after use. So, and learning how to repair things is important. YouTube is great for that. So if you haven't searched YouTube for things, if you need to repair something, you can usually find some tutorials on there. Also, once you do have an item that you need to dispose, think, can I donate that, or can I just give it away? Is it still good? I just maybe don't need it. I'm going to talk about this a lot as we go through, and some tips on how to give things away. But please remember, that a lot of things, I even had someone ask me once, like, how do I dispose of bricks? Well, I know a lot of people want bricks and they would gladly take them for free and probably come get them. So just kind of think about that. See if it's something that you could just give away. And of course, is it hazardous? Is it something that needs to stay out of the trash because it has some chemicals in it? And to get back to that idea of selling, donating, or giving away, this is just another slide about that. People love free stuff. So I know I'm a part of the Facebook page, Louisville Freegans. I always see what people are giving away. You can even post if you're looking for something for free. The Nextdoor app, if you're a part of that in your neighborhood, that one's kind of handy because you are talking to people that you know are close to you in location. And if you maybe have a Facebook group, my neighborhood, for example, has a pretty large Facebook group. So if I am trying to get something gone that I think someone else might want, I usually post it there because I know someone that lives close could come get it pretty quickly. Craigslist has a free category. You could, if it's something that's worth something, try to sell it even if you want. I sell on Facebook Marketplace all the time, even if it's cheap. If you price it right, you can get rid of things pretty fast. And I also can't move forward without making sure you all are aware of the Recycle Coach app. So for residents that have city waste collection, there is a calendar on there that shows your collection schedule, and you can get reminders, and that's very helpful. But no matter where you live, if you have city collection or not, there is the What Goes Where tool. And so you can type in the search bar anything, and it's going to pop up with some options. So it might categorize it a little bit for you, and it gives you information about how to dispose of those items properly. So if there's a recycle option, if there's a drop-off option, whatever it is that we suggest that you do with that item, it's going to tell you. So my screenshot from my phone there is household batteries. And that was actually the No Waste Wednesday yesterday. I was talking about household just alkaline batteries. So we'll talk about batteries here in a little bit, but that just shows you what it looks like on the screen. So if you don't have that app already, be sure and get it, or you can reach it through our website as well, louisvilleky.gov/recyclecoach. Another tip is to check with a manufacturer of an item. If it's kind of something weird that you're just not sure the best way to dispose of it, you may just contact the business that made it. So put a little ownership on them. I know toner for printers is that way. A lot of times when you buy that, it actually comes with a mailback sticker. People don't always notice that, but so that's a good example of checking with a manufacturer. Now here's a list of waste streams. So there's a lot, there's more than this, but this is kind of for maybe a resident. You have your regular household recycling, you have trash, of course. You might have yard waste as a service, part of your collection service. You may have a bulky waste or large items as a collection service. Electronics is a waste stream. We try to get people to recycle those. You may, there's construction and demolition as a waste stream. And then of course, household hazardous waste. So these are things, basically ways when you're trying to get rid of something, these are just places that they can kind of go through as far as disposal. So I'm going to talk to you all first about some of our drop-off options and then we'll get into more specifics on types of items that you might be disposing. So this is the Waste Reduction Center. If you've ever dropped something off at Meriwether, that is what it looks like right there. So that is actually, the picture is taken from Bland Street, which is off of Meriwether. So that's really where the entrance is. People sometimes say that it's hard to find, or they get confused about where they are. I do have a map on the website for the Waste Reduction Center that kind of shows the direction. So if you went inside that gate and turned left, that's where electronics drop off is, and tires. You can drop off up to 4 passenger tires there for free. You drop off up to 3 electronic devices for free per day. So, and if you turn right, that's where you go for your larger loads. If you have furniture to drop off, or maybe big truckloads, a lot of contractors use it, some for just disposing of big loads, and there's fees that go along with that. So, so yeah, there's a lot you can drop off there. It's open Tuesday through Saturday. Always remember it's closed on Mondays. And we'll end up talking more about that too as we get into specific items. Another location that we have is the Has-Been. That's our household hazardous waste disposal site. It is at 7501 Grade Lane. And the website shows a whole list of all the things that you can drop off there. Some of the common things are old chemicals. A lot of, if people have to clean out a garage or a basement, maybe if someone that's moving, you tend to find old chemicals and you're sometimes not quite sure what to do. So, so you can bring those there. Oil-based paint, old gasoline. There's anything hazardous that can be found in your house or garage can be brought there. No items from businesses, and you must be a Jefferson County resident to utilize that. There's also recycling drop-offs. Now, pictured here is one of our self-service recycling dumpsters. If you don't have curbside recycling, you may be familiar with these. This might be how you participate in recycling. It's a great option if you don't want to pay a waste hauler extra, or maybe you live in an apartment building that doesn't offer recycling. We have these all around town. Now, this type of recycling dumpster is not for any hard to dispose of items. This is only for household recyclables, your basic paper, plastic, glass, metal containers. Okay, but we do have 3 staffed or full service recycling drop-off locations: Outer Loop, Dixie Highway, and Hubbard's Lane. And the great thing about those is they have a little bit more, you can drop off, recycle motor oil and also cooking oil there as an added, some of those hard to dispose items can go there. And I do want to take this opportunity. This is a brand new event. We are actually starting, I've just added it to our website today, and it should be added to the Recycle Coach calendar today as well. We're calling this a pop-up drop-off event. We actually were supposed to start this back in March, and of course, we all know a lot of things got canceled. So we're finally going to bring this to residents. September 26th is our first one. The goal is to have them once a month, March to November. We'll see how it goes, but we do have plans to do this in September 26th for sure, and then October and November as well. And we'll kind of move around the county a little bit to give residents an opportunity to drop off large items, and it'll also be a way to get rid of electronics, some yard waste, as long as it's based on our curbside rules. There should be a paper shredding, prescription medication disposal, passenger tires, appliances, all kinds of things that you can drop off. So this will be great. We were excited to get that started, and then it had to be delayed. So more to come on that. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the more specific things. So everybody at some point has a large item, whether it's a chair or a couch or like in the picture there, even a old plastic sled is in that picture, a bicycle, lawn furniture. Again, please try to give items away. I know that some things break and are no good and no one's going to want them. And yes, that's, you just have to dispose of some things, but try to give it away if you think anyone could either use it in the way it was intended, or there's a lot of repurposing going on. So, so just think about that, even for yourself. You might have a collection that allows you to put large items out. I know with the city, we give you certain dates, a certain weekend that's sort of like your set out dates right now, and then we come through and pick it up. Or maybe it's an extra cost with your hauler. But I want you to know that Waste Reduction Center that we talked about earlier on Meriwether, you can drop off up to 3 large household items there for free. So I know not everyone has a way to transport items, but that is an option. So you don't have to wait, a couple months for a pickup or something. So if you get a chance to be able to drop it off, it's a good option. Electronic devices. We definitely want to keep those out of the landfill. There's a lot of valuable material in electronics. So the Waste Reduction Center does have that area for recycling. It's a great option for those old boxy TVs. Some locations that take donations or recycling don't accept those. We still do. So that is a great option for TVs. Even small things, cell phones, we definitely encourage recycling of cell phones. There's a lot of valuable material in those, and a lot of habitat is destroyed to extract those materials. So there is a organization, a local organization called EcoCell, that recycles cell phones and other handheld devices. So that's also a great option. Best Buy and Staples have been great options for recycling as well if they're closer to you. Staples, I did look on their website. It says that they still aren't accepting anything, but Best Buy seems to show that they do. So if you don't live anywhere near the Waste Reduction Center, you may want to check those stores if you want to recycle electronics. Okay, so construction and demolition. This is another hot topic for anyone with city waste collection. It is not accepted in our waste stream. I really encourage residents to plan for disposal before you put a hole in your wall like that guy's doing in that picture. You will have to get rid of any of that material on your own. So salvage things that you think could be reused or donated. Habitat Restore takes again, with COVID and everything, I don't know how much has changed, but if you've ever been in one of the stores, there's a lot of things that they sell, so which are given to them through donations. So you may want to check what kinds of items they take. And even posting, again, lumber, even people often have lumber and we don't pick it up. Other waste haulers may not. So if it's decent, it's something that someone else might be able to use for a project. I've even seen people give away fence panels if they redid their privacy fence. So, different people have different reasons for wanting to repurpose or reuse something. So try that first. And then some other options there. You can always rent a dumpster from a company. The city does not do this, but there are companies that rent dumpsters that are brought to your house. You fill it and they take it back. I've seen the Bagster is like a smaller version that you purchase, maybe at a hardware store. And then I think it's through Waste Management, the company Waste Management, and then they come and pick it up, or self-hauling the material. If you're taking items like construction and demolition materials, the Waste Reduction Center is an option for you, or the landfill, but either way, you're going to have to pay a fee for disposal. So you'd probably want to, if it's a do-it-yourself job, you would want to put it all in one load if you can, so you don't have to pay multiple times. But just kind of know that ahead of time, that waste management and waste disposal, it does cost money. It costs somebody money, and sometimes it's out of pocket. So that's pretty important to kind of know before you start a project. And if you contract that out, your contractor should, that's part of the price to pay someone to do something is going to be disposal. Okay, so batteries. This is a big topic as well. Yesterday's No Waste Wednesday topic, I mentioned household alkaline batteries. Those are going to be your regular household AA's, AAA's, C batteries. You can read the battery itself and it will say alkaline. That means that they're one and done. You can't recharge it. They're just, once they're dead, they're dead. So they are environmentally safe to put in the landfill. There's no law against it here in Kentucky. Years ago, there used to be some mercury in those batteries, but they haven't had any harmful chemicals like that since the 90s. And but there is a metal casing, and that is a valuable material. So we do allow those to be recycled for free at our has-been at the household hazardous waste site. So you can take them there. Rechargeable batteries, though, those are going to have different chemicals in them. There's a lot of different kinds of batteries. If you start researching it, it can be complicated. But those rechargeable batteries, especially lithium ion, like something that's charging a power tool or something, any of those things, they kind of keep this residual charge. And if they are punctured or anything that can happen in collection, like in the trash and the trucks, they can actually catch fire. A lot of the big fires that have happened at recycling sorting facilities or at landfills, a lot of times they're attributed to a lithium battery. So it's very important that you dispose of those properly. And typically you're able to dispose of those for free. So I looked up batteries and Batteries Plus, the store, and that's what they say they accept, those types of batteries that they will take at the store to recycle, which is great. And I know hardware stores that sell the power tools will often take those batteries that maybe don't charge your power tool anymore. They'll accept those as well. Batteries Plus will take regular household alkaline batteries as well for recycling, but they might charge you a fee for that. It depends. I've called before and gotten different answers. So I think it just depends on the location and the staff you talk to. So again, if you don't want to go all the way to Grade Lane, you may want to call Batteries Plus and ask about that. So similarly, light bulbs are one of those weird items that sometimes you're just not quite sure what to do with. And so there's different kinds. There's fluorescent light bulbs. Those do have a small amount of mercury in them. So it's very important, whether like in the picture that's a compact fluorescent light bulb, you might hear it called a CFL. Those are very important to dispose of properly because of the mercury that they have. LED light bulbs that are newer and last longer, sometimes they do go out and not work anymore. They don't really have any environmental issues, chemicals in them, but our has-been will accept those for recycling along with the fluorescent light bulbs. Hardware stores will take those compact fluorescent light bulbs. I don't know that they really like to take the longer ones, the tube ones. I've seen people kind of just leave them, but considering their container is small with a little hole in it, I don't think it's really intended for that. But definitely the CFLs you can drop off there. Incandescent and halogen light bulbs are also There's nothing unsafe about those for the trash. They can go in the trash. But I did look on the Batteries Plus website, and it shows that they recycle all of those, including regular incandescent halogen light bulbs. So these may apply again. So I have never tried that or called about their fees. So you may want to ask. But again, very important. I've seen fluorescent tube light bulbs sticking out of litter baskets or in people's garbage carts. It's very important to dispose of those properly, because when they will bust in the truck, and that's just putting mercury, exposing the truck and the people and the environment with that harmful chemical. So, all right, so paint, that's another one that people tend to ask about. So latex paint, regular old latex paint that you might paint your walls with. We did have a recycling program with Habitat Restore. That has been suspended, and I don't really have any information yet on when that program will come back. But I encourage you, if you have good latex paint, to try what I mentioned earlier as far as giving it away. There's going to be people all the time that maybe just need a little bit or whatever. So try to give it away if you know it's still good and you want it gone. But if maybe you have latex paint, but you've had it for 30 years in your garage, it's not going to be good anymore. So it's not a hazardous material. So we just ask, if you need to dispose of latex paint, that you just dry it out, whether you open the lid and let it sit for a while, or use kitty litter or another agent that will help dry it out. And then you can put it into the trash. We ask that you go ahead and bag it too, just in case, but it's safe for the trash. So oil-based paint and stains and varnishes and things like that, that's a little different. Again, if you think it's still good, you just don't want it anymore, try giving it away. But if it's empty or it dried out because it didn't have much left in it and you're cleaning out your basement, you can just trash it if it's completely empty. But if you have, leftover, the chemical is in there, the oil-based paint or stain is in there, you can dispose of that at the has-been, just to make sure that that doesn't get into the environment. So motor oil, cooking oil, gasoline, and kerosene. These are things that maybe you might need to dispose of. And let's see. I mentioned before, at those full service recycling drop-off places, we have 3 of them. They do accept the motor oil and the cooking oil. Now, when we say cooking oil, we are talking about if you deep fried something. This is important to know with Thanksgiving. If you maybe like to deep fry a turkey and have a lot of cooking oil left over, that's a great way to dispose of that and get it recycled. It gets recycled into biodiesel. And then gasoline or kerosene. I had someone recently ask about an antique lamp that had something in it. I'm guessing it probably has kerosene in it, and that can be disposed of at our has-been. This is a little note. If you put oil into your car and you just have the bottle left over, we ask that those go in the trash. Even though it is a recyclable plastic, typically because of the residue left in those being a hazardous waste, we ask you to not put that through our recycling program because it might contaminate the other materials. Another thing that people often ask about is medical waste. For one, prescription drugs, it's very important to not have those around. And if you don't need them or they're left over, there are ways to dispose of those, usually through our police department. And we often at events. I know there haven't been that many events, but sometimes at festivals and things, they'll actually set up a place where you can bring those. And that's what we plan to do for our pop-up drop-off events, is have someone from LMPD to come and accept those prescription drugs for drop-off. And needles. People sometimes ask about needles. People often wish they could recycle them somehow, but it's just not a material, again, unless it's something that the manufacturer can take back. This is nothing that you can just recycle. To properly dispose of needles, they need to be placed in a rigid plastic container that is sealed and clearly marked sharps, and placed in the trash. Even if it's going in the trash, seal it up, mark it. And never, ever, ever put that container into your recycling bin. Also, we've had people ask us before about equipment. I think like CPAP machines. I don't know, we had a resident call us, and we actually did a little research for her and found that the manufacturer would accept some things back, and there was a location that it could be dropped off at. So again, back to that manufacturer thing, sometimes it's worth a call to the manufacturer of some kind of equipment that you're trying to get rid of. Now, the next couple of things that I have on here go along more with recycling, but I bring them up because they are hard to dispose of items a lot of times. Styrofoam can be so confusing because people see the 6 with that little recycle symbol around it, and it often makes people think, oh, I can recycle that. However, it is mostly made of air, so we don't collect it to ship it anywhere, and we don't here locally have a program that with the equipment to densify that material to put it back into a form for recycling. But there is the only option that we have at all is in New Albany. There is a business called Foam Fabricators, and they will only accept your large packaging inserts, like in the picture on the right. If you've bought a TV or some other fragile item, a lot of times it's got these big things around the item to protect it, and then they are large and you got to get rid of them somehow. So if you're willing to drive it over to Foam Fabricators, they'll take it. It needs to be clean and free of any tape or stickers. And if you have no desire to take it anywhere other than reuse by someone, there's no option except the trash. Okay, so I know that type of item can be hard to avoid if you're buying something that's how they packaged it. The other is those, like the cups in the picture on the left, or plates. Takeout, I know we're all getting a lot of takeout still, probably. None of that is accepted in recycling, and Foam Fabricators won't take those items. So, it's going to be one of those things. Try to avoid it if you can. And if you do have it, it just has to be thrown in the trash. Another common question is plastic shopping bags. This has been a huge discussion all the time, especially through this pandemic when stores like Kroger stopped accepting them for recycling. There's just no other options for recycling plastic shopping bags except through the retail stores. That's just the only system going for it. So again, try to avoid if you can, reuse them if you want. You could donate. I've seen people post about donating to food pantries. And the main thing that we want people to know is, despite what you read on there, if you can see that it tells you what kind of plastic it's made of and there's a recycle symbol, please don't put it in your regular curbside recycling or any of those recycling dumpsters that we have around. They're considered tanglers. And this is a photo. I actually took this off of another city's website, but on the left, it's kind of showing how material that's recycled gets moved on these machines, and this is what it should look like. But on the right, that is showing that maybe at a time when they've had a lot of materials going through there that are stringy in some way, and it just gets wrapped. It's a little bit like a vacuum cleaner. Every once in a while, you have to kind of cut off the strings and threads and hair that gets stuck in a vacuum cleaner. So that's why we ask that you don't bag your recyclables or put actual plastic shopping bags in the recycling bin. So I hate that the stores that for a while weren't taking them anymore. I've seen a lot of posts about the fact that those stores are now taking them again. So that's good. Because again, that's the only option for actual recycling. So try to bring reusable bags to the store. I know even with takeout lately, I've noticed we get bags. I'm good at not taking them from Kroger, but when you go pick up your food, sometimes it's already in a bag. So do your best on that one. All right, so those are the main things that I felt that were important to kind of talk about. If you have any specific questions, I am happy to answer those. You can type those in. I think I can see it on my screen over here. And we'll cover it. If there are no questions, that's fine too. You are always welcome to email me. There's lots of ways to find us through the Facebook page or Nextdoor. However you knew about this webinar is probably a way that you can contact me. I see Autumn's question about electric cords. That is a good question. And I'll bring that up along with string lights too. At Christmas time, we usually talk about that. Those, if you are willing to drive them somewhere, I think a lot of the scrap metal recycling facilities will take those, as well as we really only take them seasonally at the Waste Reduction Center with electronics, and same with hardware stores. I've seen Lowe's put a sign up for string lights seasonally whenever, around Thanksgiving to Christmas. They'll take things like that and be able to extract some of the metal from them. If you really just need to get rid of it and you're not taking it anywhere or want to wait, the trash is where you would put electric cords. Definitely never into your recycling bin, because that's one of those tanglers. Any other questions? Kind of see if any come up. And like I said, you can always contact us with specific questions. We're always happy to answer. Next week's webinar is about our waste collection system. So that should be interesting to understand maybe why your waste collection is different depending on where you live. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. And then the last one on August 20th is about illegal dumping. So I think everybody is affected by that in some way. Hopefully we'll get we'll have some good information for everyone on that one. Okay, just checking, make sure I'm not missing anything on the chats there. So if no other questions come up, we'll just go ahead and consider this ended. I'll post the link to the recording on our website, and I'll send it out for anybody, of course, that wasn't able to watch in real time. Thank you so much.